When you read text from a file in previous projects, you first created an array to hold the text. That array needed to be declared the same size as the number of lines to be read in. For the Hangman project, I want you to be able to read the entire contents of a file when you don't know how many lines are in that file. We can do this by checking for a null value as the file is being read. Hi, I'm Annette Gotland. I'm the author of the Do-It-Yourself Java Games books. I teach Java programming through creating games. Welcome to the video version of my books. We're currently in the Text Games video series, TG, the first of 4 types of games series. The focus of this series is to cover the fundamentals of Java programming. You'll learn how, when, and why Java programs are written the way they are. This series has 16 projects. Each project assumes you already have the skills taught in the previous projects. A link to the entire Text Games playlist is provided in the description below. We're currently working on the 15th project, TG15, Hangman. You'll be given a puzzle that shows how many words are in the phrase and how many letters are in each word, like this. If you guess a correct letter, the puzzle will show every place it's used in the phrase. If you guess an incorrect letter, that letter will be added to the list of wrong guesses, and another part of the stickman will be added to the hangman gallows. The object is to guess the phrase before all 10 parts of the stickman are drawn. This is lesson TG15.5, where you'll learn to read an entire file of any length. To do this, you'll need to understand null values. In the previous projects, you wrote your code to read the number of lines you expected to be in the file. In this lesson, you'll learn to read all the lines in a file of unknown length. First, we'll name the input file and add a try block around the code we don't want run if the program can't read the file. Exercise 1. Put the constructor in a try block. Pause the video if you need more time in any of these exercises. If you want to see how I would complete any of the listings, please refer to the completed listings at the end of this video. First, create a private static final string instance variable named filename set to phrases.txt. Then put the entire contents of the constructor into a try block. You'll not be able to run the program as it has a syntax error. Either a catch block or a finally block is required after a try block. You can ignore that error for now. We will catch exceptions for that try block in exercise 3. Next, we'll read all the lines of the file. Reading from a file will return null when nothing is left to read. You'll know you reached the end of the file when reading a line returns a null value. But what is a null value? A variable with no value is said to have a null value. Like typing the values of true and false, type a null value, all lowercase, with no quotes. Check for a null value by comparing a variable with null. For example, to check if a string named answer has a value, check if it is not equal to null, like this. Always check for null using the equal sign, not the equals method, even for strings. At the beginning of these lessons, you should have downloaded the DIY Java Games.zip file and extracted it into your Eclipse workspace folder. One of the extracted files should be a file named phrases.txt. You'll use phrases.txt for this program. Let's get that file and put it into the Hangman project. Then we can read all of its contents. Exercise 2. Read all the lines from the file. First, copy the phrases.txt file from your Eclipse workspace folder to the Hangman project folder that's in your Eclipse workspace folder. Next, add code to the start of the try block to read all the lines from the file named filename. Hint: create a buffered reader by calling its constructor, passing in a new file reader created from a new file named filename. Read a line from the file into a string named s. Hint: call buffered reader's readLine method. Then continue reading lines while s is not null. Close the file when you're done. You'll not be able to run the program as it has syntax errors. Now it's indicating the 2 exceptions you need to handle. We'll fix that next. Exercise 3. Catch the exceptions. Add catch blocks to catch file not found exception and IO exception, and print messages when those exceptions are thrown. Run it. What happened? It should still run the same as before. It isn't running any differently because we didn't do anything with what we read. Did it read every line? Let's test what was read by printing each line. Exercise 4. Print all the phrases. Print S to the console every time a new line is read. Hint: use system.out.println to print to the console. Run it. What happened? It should have printed to the console 509 lines, with the last two printed lines being zonk out and null. Once you verify that it printed all the lines from the file, you should remove those print statements from the program. Exercise 5. Remove the print statements. Remove the lines of code that printed to the console. Run it. What happened? It should no longer print anything to the console. It should still run the same as it did at the start of this lesson. Key points and more. Read all the lines of a file and null value. A null variable is a variable that has no value. To check if a variable equals null, use the equal sign, not the equals method, even when checking strings. To read all the lines of a file, read a line, then, while what was read is not null, do something with what was read, and then read the next line. Hangman will always read all the lines of the file. You can change what is in the phrases.txt file at any time, and you won't have to change the Hangman program. Here are the completed listings for all the exercises in this video. This is the end of the 5th lesson in the Hangman project. The Hangman game now reads the file of phrases, but doesn't do anything with those phrases yet. In the next lesson, you'll learn about array lists so you can work with a list of unknown length and finish the Hangman game.